Ethereum is currently hanging in the balance at the end of this pattern. Consolidation has been going on for some time now, but something very big is about to happen. In today's episode, we're going to look at the latest Ethereum news as well as Ethereum chart analysis for some price predictions. Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos about Ethereum as well as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in Ethereum as well as other cryptocurrencies. Without further ado then, let's have a look at the first piece of Ethereum news for today. Okay, so as we know guys, we've seen Ethereum being dragged down below $2,000 as US inflation hits its highest level since 1991. Now, it's been a bit of a narrative in cryptocurrency for the last few months about the amount of printing of money that's going on, not only in the USA, but around the world. But that isn't necessarily enough to sort of save the price of cryptocurrency, as you are seeing happening at the moment. Obviously, there's more and more dollars being printed, which in theory should devalue the dollar. If we think about how everything works in the world, depending on the demand of something, depends on the price at which it is. The Ethereum, Bitcoin prices, etc. are leveled against the US dollar, but the US dollar is still managing to perform relatively well despite the sort of levels of inflation that are going on. There's been obviously a lot of hype based around the Ethereum upgrade, which is promising to deliver some great things, but that's not until sort of next month. So, we're just perhaps kind of early in terms of that. People don't really know about the Ethereum upgrade, and ultimately the amount of interest in the market is what is going to drive the price up. And at the moment, the prices have been very static. Nothing much has been going on, which has kind of left a lot of people sort of sat on the sidelines, or perhaps not generally that interested in what is going on. But as we've seen already, the price is consolidating towards potentially a big move that could get people interested in it again. Now, something else to consider is at the moment, 10 of the biggest whales have been buying more ETH and holding around 20.58% of the entire ETH supply, which ultimately could be a good thing in that they're still topping up and ultimately stabilizing the price. But obviously this could be potentially a bit of a worry for the future, is if a huge amount of the supply is held by very few people, then it leaves the market open for some significant manipulation. But as I mentioned the other day, when the times are sort of quiet and when people aren't really talking about it, this is when the whales are potentially loading up, looking to decrease their dollar cost average rather than buying at highs of above $4,000, etc., where we've obviously seen that dump down to around the $2,000, currently struggling to get above $2,000 and hold there. Okay, so it's saying the biggest whales now hold 20.58% of the ETH supply, having added another 2.12%. According to a tweet published by the sentiment team earlier on today, which was yesterday, the 10 largest Ethereum wallets now hold a whopping 20.58%. And, that's only going to continue. Obviously, there's people in the game with a lot of money who is looking at the future and perhaps the longer term future of Ethereum. And okay, we've seen a quiet few months, and we potentially might see some more quiet time coming up. But ultimately, eventually, the market will have to make a decision as it is getting consolidated further down. And we'll jump over to look at the Ethereum chart now to see what is going on. So guys, as you can see, since that big dump back on the 22nd of May, we've been in this huge descending triangle pattern, which ultimately is a continuation pattern. And we should realistically, because more often than not continues, to see a break to the downside. But as you can see guys, every time we've come down to this level, we've been sharply rejected and pushed back up to the top, happening here and then again a couple of times before this sort of swift push back. But what is happening literally as we speak, we have just seen the price kind of take a bounce and try to recover, but it only made it up as far as around $2,054 and is now slowly sort of slipping back away. And obviously once a line is hit more times, more often than not it will break because every time it's getting down there, the bulls are losing momentum, etc. So we could potentially be looking at a break further to the downside. Now, we've talked about this a lot before, due to the nature of this pattern, the length of time it's been going and the size of it, a drop from this pattern theoretically should take us down towards the sort of $500 level. Now, obviously, if we look back historically, there's a huge amount of trading that went on between the sort of $900 level and up towards the sort of the base of this level here, which is around the $1,830 level. So there would potentially be a great deal of support and buying pressure coming in at these levels. We've just seen that the whales are loading up quite heavily at around the sort of $1,900 to $2,000 level. So potentially another dip, we could see more buying pressure coming in. So it's not all doom and gloom. If we jump in closer to the 15-minute chart, as you can see, I was tracking this sort of falling or descending pattern, which usually does tend to be a bullish pattern and does break to the upside, but as you can see, has taken a further dip to the downside, finding support at around the sort of $1,910 level. So this area around here will be interesting to see. If we do take this further trip back down towards this line, then potentially something very big is about to happen, and not necessarily what you want to hear right now. But as you can see, we're seeing more buying pressure coming in at these levels, and it has still, some room to move back down towards the sort of $1,850 level, which definitely will add a significant amount of support. In terms of where the pattern's playing out, eventually, we are coming towards the end of this pattern. This is on the 15-minute chart. There's actually not a huge amount of time for us to have to make some big move one way or the other. The good thing about actually the fact that it's narrowing down is for us to actually make a push back towards the upside means we've only got to really achieve something like a $2,200 level before having to retest the top side. But be very careful at the moment, guys. When the price is consolidated like this, eventually something very big is going to have to happen to push it out one way or the other. And when it does, it's going to move very, very quickly, because a lot of orders are around here, but there's actually quite a lot of volume space either side, which will see us take a big move. So in terms of what I'm doing with my trades, I'll be looking, if we do take this trip back down towards this downside, to put in a short position and ultimately ride the wave down there. If we do manage to hold, and we can hold above this level and push back towards the upside, then we're sort of waiting to see what's going to happen. But as it looks at the moment, as I've mentioned, this is a continuation pattern. It does look more likely than not that we are going to be probably pushing back down to the downside. Hopefully I'm wrong. Until we actually see a break below this line, nothing is set in stone. And even if we do take a drop, potentially we might see a bit of a fake out, as we saw here back on the 7th of July, where we did break out, but we were sort of soon back and rejected out of there. As I've mentioned, the volume is particularly low at the moment, and when we do get lower volume and we do see lower price moves like this, eventually something big has to happen. So it's only a matter of time, and we should be coming up to some more interesting times. If it does take a drop out the bottom, potentially you are going to be looking at a fantastic buying opportunity, in my opinion. Obviously, go away and do your own research. But ultimately, things are looking a little bit more bearish than they have been in the last sort of few weeks, as we've been moving back towards and testing this upper line each time, only to get rejected. I just wanted to bring you that quick Ethereum news and Ethereum chart analysis update for today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with the latest happening in Ethereum, as well as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And please smash that like button. It really helps me to deliver this content to more and more people, and it only takes 2 seconds of your time. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow with another Ethereum update. Thank you. Bye.